What's up, folks? Today's a beautiful day in New Jersey. We had like a 2-week-long cold snap, and it's finally above freezing. See some of the snow on the ground is melting. All right, we're at the very beautiful, scenic Rifle Camp Park in Woodland Park, New Jersey. It's kind of cloudy and foggy. Usually you could see New York City. You could see the New York City skyline from up here. But today, because of the fog, can't really see it too well. Yeah, I just figured I'd film outside today. Get some fresh air. Let's talk about fragrance a little bit. Let's talk about the fragrance community. Recently, a friend of mine, he saw some of my videos on YouTube and he said, wow, you're really passionate about fragrances. And I kind of stopped for a second and I felt really offended. I mean, I like fragrances, but I got 99 things that I'm passionate about, and fragrance is not one of them. Let me tell you my story, how I started reviewing fragrances. I really didn't know that a fragrance community existed on YouTube until maybe 10 months ago. I had a new girlfriend, and somehow in our conversation, cologne came up, and she said she liked Drakkar Noir. And I was like, wow, I like Drakkar Noir too. So I went out and I bought a bottle of Drakkar. But prior to that, I would say there was like a 5-year period where I hardly wore any fragrance. If I did, it'd be like maybe once a month if I was going out or something like that. And then I came across some fragrance reviews because I was like, you know what, that's cool, Drakkar, I like Drakkar. I wonder what kind of fragrances are out there in the market now. And I did like a little search and I noticed there was a bunch of people doing fragrance reviews, and I found Fragrantica and Base Notes. So just from watching YouTube videos and checking out what people what other fragrances people were liking, I bought Ed Hardy's Love and Luck. I bought Periellis Red. I bought, what was the other one? I bought Nautica Voyage. And I was like really happy with those. I was like, wow, those are great fragrances. So these guys, they kind of hooked me up with this information. I think it was like Coach Rob and Redolessence and Gent Sense I was watching. I was watching some of Jeremy Fragrance's reviews. I was like, that's cool. And I was just on that fragrance journey. I bought those 3 colognes at first. And then I came across these al-rehab oils somehow, just going on the internet. And I noticed there wasn't much information on these al-rehab oils. I ordered a few. I think I ordered a 6-pack. I think 6 of them or something like that. I ordered a few. And they came back and I was like, wow, these things smell pretty freaking good. And nobody's really doing reviews on them. They're very little known. So I was like, you know, let me just put some reviews out there and let people know that these are actually pretty decent fragrances and they're really cheap. I bought 85 fragrances within the last 10 months. And a lot of them were those al-rehab oils. I think I got 24 of those al-rehab oils. I got 13 Cuba fragrances, which are cheapies. So I wasn't really heavily invested into this habit as far as financially. I was buying cheapies and I was just looking for value cologne. I continued to buy some more colognes based on reviews, and I started to come across a whole bunch of them that I didn't like. I acquired some expensive ones, some cheap ones, some gourmands, some chippers, some fougères, and aromatic orientals, and aquatics, and freshies, and sweet ones. And I basically got a broad spectrum of colognes. And I'm looking at, I was looking at my collection and I'm like, I have enough cologne to last 4 lifetimes right now. But I'm still seeking more cologne. There's something wrong. I'm a pragmatic person. When I walk into a store, the first things I look at is the fragrance department. I was like, I'm getting obsessive about fragrance. I'm getting OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. It is a disorder. And something clicked in my head. I was like, okay, there's a problem here. And I think there is a problem with me. I think it started becoming obsessive and compulsive. Also, I noticed there's a lot of reviewers and a lot of people in the fragrance community that also have the same problem. There's a lot of obsessive compulsive disorder going on in the whole fragrance community. I mean, if you have like 100 bottles of cologne and you still feel the need to buy a backup of a fragrance, it's just illogical and irrational. So there's something going on in your head. There's some kind of an addiction, some kind of a habit, a compulsive disorder that's making you want more cologne. And it's like everybody in the community is perpetuating it. I don't think anybody sat down and said, wait a second, well, how could somebody get, $50,000 worth of cologne and continue to want more cologne? It just doesn't make sense. Now, I realize that a lot of reviewers, they're kind of justifying their purchases by saying, hey, look, I'm a reviewer now, so I should continue to buy colognes just because I'm a reviewer and I want to put it on the internet. And they justify their OCD behavior by being a reviewer. So in my opinion, what I've learned is most reviewers got a problem, a mental problem, OCD, or they're straight up shills for the industry. When I got into the reviewing, I thought it was just kind of like, I didn't see it as an opportunity of sorts, because I was just like, you know what, this is pretty cool. There's people that are into cologne and they're reviewing cologne and they're sharing information, which is cool. I learned a few things in my fragrance journey the last 10 months. The first thing I've learned is you do not need cologne. In my opinion, cologne does not add any value to you, either sexual value or social value. I don't think it adds any value at all. It might add a little value in a pickup artist situation. If you're picking up women and you're wearing cologne, and I don't think it really matters the cologne that you're wearing. I think if a girl smells cologne on you, it automatically triggers something in her. Not necessarily like, wow, he smells great. I think it's more like, if he has money to throw away on something as frivolous and useless as cologne, then he would have no problem spending money on someone as frivolous and useless as me. I think that's what's going on in a girl's head in a pickup artist situation. If you get a compliment from a girl, that does not mean that the girl wants to have sex with you, does not mean that she wants to date you, does not mean that she even wants to know you. I feel that a lot of these compliments that these reviewers claim to be getting, they're extremely embellished. Because not just with me, because I have other friends that are into fragrances and they wear fragrances too, and the number of compliments that are gotten from them or from me are few and far between. If they do compliment you, it doesn't really mean anything. It's almost like they notice you're wearing cologne, and a lot of the compliments are very patronizing. It's almost like if I was to wear a lime green pirate hat with like an orange ribbon on it, somebody will see it and say, wow, nice hat, which is kind of patronizing more than it is a compliment. So in my opinion, you really don't need cologne. I don't think it adds any value to you socially. It doesn't add any value to you sexually. And the little bit of value that it does add, you really don't need a really crazy expensive cologne to get that, because you could get a $20 cologne like a Nautica Voyage, or you can get like a Perialis Red. The fact that you're wearing cologne and the cologne is noticeable is enough to trigger that thought in the woman's head that he's got money to spend. So yeah, I don't think you need cologne. I think you're fine with just bathing regularly and using deodorant and brushing your teeth, and as long as you don't smell bad. Smelling bad is bad for your sexual value, and it's very bad for your social value. But cologne doesn't really add much, in my opinion. Another thing that I've noticed is more cologne is not better. And I'm not just talking about like applying cologne. I think if you have too many colognes, you never make that olfactory connection between a time in your life and a fragrance. Now, I'm speaking to you guys like if you were my family. I'm giving you advice. If you were like interested into getting into colognes, I would say it's not worth it. Don't even bother. If you must have cologne, I think just buying one cologne to wear is better than having a big selection. It's almost like sleeping with a whole bunch of women in a short time span. You never really connect with one woman They may all be beautiful, but you never really appreciate one woman, and you never really make any memories with that one woman, and you don't have any kind of lasting connection to any one of those women. You know, it's fun to do, like, you know, but it's just, there's no lasting connection there. Having one cologne at a time is better than having like a dozen in rotation. Because if you have a dozen in rotation, let's say you're rotating a dozen colognes, you never make that time to smell, that time of your life to a smell connection, as if you were to just wear one cologne. When I went on spring break, we all basically wore one cologne. It was like Escape by Calvin Klein. And every time I smell Calvin Klein, it brings me back to spring break. In high school, Obsession was a big cologne, and it brings me back to high school. But if I had a situation where I was rotating a dozen colognes in high school, there would be no solid connection to one of them. So you're better off just owning one cologne. There's other advantages just to having one cologne also. It's also, you have less laundry. I know that's like something simple, but suppose you wear a shirt and you spray on one cologne, you're basically married to that cologne. You can't wear that shirt with another cologne because the scent is going to mix mash with the other scent, and then you're going to come across smelling like a French whore. So, yeah, in application, less is more, and also owning colognes, less is more. You're better off with just one cologne. Another thing about that OCD, I mean, purchasing cologne, I definitely feel it's very habit forming. Does the cosmetics and fragrance industry actually add stuff in there to make it more habit forming? Stuff to get you hooked? I mean, they do it in food. There's ingredients in food that's designed to get you hooked. And I don't see why the fragrance industry wouldn't do that. Because the fragrance industry, they're not exactly a bunch of saints, the whole fragrance, cosmetic, fashion industry. They're a bunch of douchebags. So I don't see that they're high and mighty or above the whole concept of adding stuff in there to get you addicted to the cologne. Also, cologne masks your natural pheromones. If you're masking your natural pheromones, you may be shooting yourself in the foot. If you're masking your natural pheromones, cologne is actually working against you. And another thing, cologne is very polarizing. So what smells good to one person might not smell too good to another. You know, because every industry knows that sex smells, and they try to associate their product with sexiness or, or social value. And that's really not the case. Yeah, those are a few things I've learned in my fragrance journey. I've also learned that you should never buy things based on the opinion of someone. Even, whether it be a reviewer, a friend, even if it's a girl. You shouldn't buy a fragrance based on the opinion of a girl either. It's really what you like that's most important. 99% of the colognes out there smell good. They smell okay, at least. So you need to wear something that you like. In my opinion, wearing cologne is like, it's a beta male behavior. You're seeking acceptance. Seeking acceptance is very beta male. Alpha males really don't do that. Yeah, that's just some of the things that I've learned in my fragrance journey. And my fragrance journey is officially over, folks. I don't see myself buying any more cologne. As a matter of fact, I have like 3 lifetimes worth of cologne. I'm going to start selling off most of them, if not all of them. So my next videos will probably be me selling my cologne. The reason why I got into reviewing cologne is innocuous. It's just fragrance. There shouldn't be any drama attached to it. But I noticed a lot of people take their cologne very seriously, man. If you really take your fragrances seriously, like if you're really serious about your fragrance, if you're really passionate about your fragrance, I think you need to eat more fiber. Take a laxative. Because you're a little anal retentive in that aspect, buddy. No offense to anybody out there, but I think you really have a problem if you really take your fragrances seriously. I know a lot of, industry shills, they come across like fragrance is a necessity, like you really need it. If you don't have this scent, if you don't smell like this, then you're not going to get laid, or this and that. It's all bullshit. It's all a myth, man. The whole industry is bullshit. And I kind of knew that from the beginning, just from the differences in prices of cologne. I knew that the whole fragrance industry is bullshit. So my whole fragrance reviewing and my channel, when I was doing fragrance reviews, it was all about hacking the industry and getting the best bang for your buck fragrances. Because when it comes to value, like, you can get just as much value from a $10 cologne as you would from a $400 cologne. Because just with modern manufacturing techniques, there's no reason why any fragrance should cost $400. You never saw me saying, oh, check it out, I got the latest Creed and, you know, blah, 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 bling, bling. DJ Khaled showing off his sneaker collection. They start licking the sole like they've never wore it before. DJ Khaled is like the most non-athletic looking dude with the most athletic shoes. Expensive athletic shoes, which is the whole irony of it. And I think the fragrance industry is the same. You know, you got some dude with $50,000 worth of fragrance. It's not going to make you a better person. It's really not going to help your social status. It's not going to make any difference. I think most people don't really care about your fragrance. I realize that, you know, by doing this video, I'm like the asshole pissing in the pool right now. He's dissing the fragrance community because I really need to unplug from the fragrance community. No offense to anybody out there, but I have to unplug because it's become OCD. Why did I end up OCD about fragrances? That's like the stupidest thing to be OCD about. Why can't I be anorexic instead? At least I'll lose a few pounds. Most people in the fragrance community are sick in the head with OCD, or they're shills. And I know I'm going to be offending some people when I say it, but if I was speaking to like somebody from my own family, I would say, do not get into collecting fragrances. It's addictive. It's a compulsive behavior, and it's a journey that never ends. It really doesn't, because you just keep looking for the next fix, man. Like in my case, I went through all these different colognes, and I've tried a lot too. I mean, I bought 85, but I've tried all the Creed fragrances because there's a Nordstrom by me that has the Creed fragrances. I tried all the Creeds. I tried pretty much everything in Sephora. I've tried everything in Macy's pretty much. And I don't see like how Aventus would add more value to my life than a Drakkar. I remember the days when I didn't wear cologne because it wasn't that long ago. It was like a year ago. There's drama in everything in the internet, I guess. But I was like, there's drama in the fragrance industry, as innocuous as fragrances. You got people arguing about fragrances on Fragrantica and in the comment sections of certain videos, and I was like, what the hell are you arguing about? It's only freaking cologne, man. What the hell? I learned a whole lot about fragrances. I know way more about fragrances than the average man should know. That and $2 might get me a cup of coffee. I'm going to change directions on my channel. I'm going to start uploading maybe like gig logs, and I've got a lot of really big projects coming up, a lot of challenges coming up that I don't want to reveal at this point because it's still in the works. But I got some serious stuff coming up that I think would be great content. I'm tired of fragrances, man. I'm sick of them. I really don't think that I don't think they've added any value to my life, to be honest with you. Check it out, chemtrails. You see that? Those are chemtrails, man. They're spraying us, bro. The government is spraying us. They're trying to engineer the climate. Everywhere I look on my computer right now, I see nothing but freaking fragrance ads. All my notifications are fragrance review notifications, and it's making it difficult to unplug, to be honest with you. It's like almost impossible to stop once they got you. It's like ridiculous. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. I'm going to be unplugging from the whole fragrance community, and I do not want you guys to take it personally, because it's not because I don't like you guys. I think you guys are great. But I think you guys are sick in the head like I'm sick in the head with this OCD about fragrances. I think you guys are OCD also, even though you don't want to admit it. I see a problem. I feel like I'm getting OCD over fragrances. Why fragrances of all things, you know? Fragrances, it's such a freaking silly topic, a silly thing to get OCD over. I'd rather have an eating disorder, be anorexic, at least I'll lose some weight. Thanks for watching. I'll smell you later. I can't say that anymore. I'm so used to saying thanks for watching, I'll smell you later, but I gotta change my ending to something else. Take care, guys.